Trump and Zelensky appeared to be at least cordial when they came face to face at the White House on Friday and had a bit of a press conference ahead of their scheduled lunch, but apparently it was when they got behind closed doors that things got heated. At least that's according to a new report from the Financial Times, which says that in private, Trump and Zelensky's conversation descended into a shouting match multiple times, that Trump was cursing all the time, that Trump told Zelensky that he needed to agree to a deal with Russia or else, quote, if Putin wants to, he will destroy you. Now, one thing that I found particularly interesting was the report's claim that Trump basically did not want anything to do with the maps of Russia and Ukraine, said he'd never been there, didn't know anything about it, right? Didn't want to talk about the Donbass region, and instead was all for freezing the conflict along the current front lines. And while this report from the Financial Times is based on commentary coming from anonymous officials, what is notable is that ever since that meeting, Trump's public comments about Ukraine have been that we've got to make a deal and we need to freeze the conflict along the current front lines, acknowledging that yes, Kiev is going to have to give up its territorial claims in the Donbass. Now, if we know anything about Trump, it's that he flip-flops all over the place. Oh, and he also has an in-person meeting coming up with Russian President Putin. So I don't know that I'm necessarily expecting him to stick to his current view of the conflict and his current commentary. But I do think it's notable that he is now advocating for a frozen conflict, because that is what we've been hearing from his special envoy for Ukraine, Keith Kellogg, since the beginning. And that's also something that Russia is very wary of. They do not want another Minsk-style deal. They do not want to freeze this conflict so that NATO can rearm Kiev's forces and send some so-called European peacekeeping troops into Ukraine for the next phase of war against Russia. So I'm very curious to see what will happen when Putin and Trump come face to face in Budapest, if there's any chance of a deal, and if Trump is going to want to hear about the deal that Russia has to offer. Because as it stands right now, the US is still directly fueling the proxy war against Russia, and they have not backed off of that, and that's something everyone should be talking about.